Hi, my name is Chef Herschel, and I do all the cooking and catering here in the Aish HaTorah World Center for Aish HaTorah. I cook for anywhere from 300 to 700 people. And now we're going to cook a pot roast for Pesach. So here we have my gas flame in one of my small pots. Put it on the fire. Now this is Mrs. Arnow's famous pot roast. And actually she got it from Mrs. Lazarus. You always have to say it in the name of the person who said it. Okay, we need a little bit of oil to cover the bottom of the pot. Now cooking is different than baking. Baking is exact. But cooking has quite a bit of flexibility. So when you get frustrated by amounts, you can use your intuition. So we cover the bottom with oil, and we're going to be cooking a pot roast. A pot roast can be made of any number of cuts of meat. This is called a rollada. A rollada is a combination of meat put into a net and then cooked for a long time. Because they usually put in not your choicest meat, but on occasion they do. When you cook this pot roast, you can use any cut of meat, preferably the less expensive cuts of meat that are a little tougher, because we're going to cook this for a long time, and when we get done, it's going to be very soft and tasty. Now the reason this is such a good roast to cook on Pesach is because we're not, you can check with your local rabbis, but it's suggested that you not roast meat on Pesach, but you cook it another way. And this comes from the roasting of the Paschal offering, and we would like to try to avoid that. But talk to your rabbi and he'll tell you the rest of the story. We brown each part of the sides and we seal it. Especially this kind of roast seals it in order that we can continue cooking. This is a very nice piece of meat. This will feed about 20 people on Pesach. So we're going to make this on the top of the stove, which is very nice. And it's going to cook a long time. It'll be about 2.5 hours cooking, but we're going to quicken it up for you. The fact is, however your patience are that particular day, that's the time you can spend browning it. If you don't have much, you can do it very quickly. So now I always have my lists. One of the secrets of the chef is have the lists with exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. I got that on here. So when you get mixed up, then you can just go back to the list. Okay, now it says here that Mrs. Arnow would add onions and garlic, bay leaves, and let's do that. These are bay leaves, dried bay leaves. They come from different parts of the world. They last a very long time, and they need almost no checking, a little superficial check, and we just add them like that. Bay leaves, nice flavor added to the beef. Now, garlic. You can use garlic in whatever form you'd like. I happen to use frozen garlic. Right? It's available. It's in my freezer, my refrigerator, whenever I need it, how much ever I need it. And I don't have to spend a lot of time cutting and slicing. But when you're doing small amounts, you could use the fresh garlic individually, or if you want, just use your garlic salt or garlic powder. Put a little bit of that in there. And onions. We take some onions and we cut them into quarters. I happen to have my onions here already. The reason being, in Israel, we have to check them. So I've checked them already. I cut them into quarters, not finely cut, but coarsely cut. And here we are. We're going to put those into the pot and add them into the pot roast. As many as you'd like, as little as you'd like. Okay, now we're going from there. We add a little bit of water, about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Water and hot oil don't always mix, so be careful when you do this. And we roll the beef so that it sears evenly on all sides. What a great aroma. Ah. And we let that cook for an hour on a low flame. We let it simmer. And we can get all of our other work done. That's another nice thing about this recipe. Little tin foil, turn it down, let it just mellow for an hour. Now this is after cooking an hour. Looks beautiful. The aroma is wonderful. It's a good idea to turn it over. We can take this spoon here and we'll just turn it over. It's not required, but not a bad idea. And we go on to step 2. But you can add your potatoes, or really any other vegetables that you'd like to add now. Okay. I use small potatoes. It doesn't require any cutting. They're peeled. Pesach, generally we peel everything. And then we're going to add, this is going to be sweet and sour, or sweet and sweet. We're going to add a little bit of vinegar here. It's really a barbecue flavor, kind of. Add some nice vinegar. Any kind. Whatever it calls for, you can use any kind of vinegar. If you want to perfect your cooking, you can get precise kinds of vinegar. Now we're going to add a little bit of white sugar. Or you can add brown sugar. Always put it in your hand first, in case it spills and you can do something about it. A little bit of white sugar. Brown sugar is also very good. Check your list to make sure you've done everything. Vinegar, or lemon juice, white sugar. Cup of wine. Now, I happen not to be a wine connoisseur, so whenever it calls for wine, I just put in wine. But this is a cheap red Shabbos wine, and it'll do the trick. I wash down the sugar and anything else that's around here. Now we're all set for the next hour of cooking. Cover it up, keep it on the same low flame. I want to tell you, this recipe is really about 100% foolproof. You're going to enjoy that without any questions. Okay, now that you've finished cleaning up the house and checking for chametz and telling the kids exactly what to do, you pick up your list and remind yourself where you're at. Third step. You've cooked it for 2 hours. My timer went off. So we add a little salt. Take the top off. Remember we said always add to your hand in case you make a mistake so you can change it. There's a little salt. Little salt. And now we're going to add ketchup. Now actually it says here ketchup 3 tablespoons. I used to use a regular tablespoon. Again, cooking is an art and baking is a science. 2, 3 spoons of ketchup. And then the trimming on the top, raisins. Now raisins, yes, have to be checked now because there's often bugs in them. There's ways of checking. You can look and talk to your local rabbi. And we put raisins in here for a sweet year. Okay, again, if they're not available for Pesach, you can leave it out. Or you could put some other sweet fruit. I often put pineapple. Just stir it around again. Make sure you have enough liquid. If you don't, add some so it doesn't dry out and burn. Okay, let's see what we have here. 2.5 hours of simmering, and it looks beautiful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this over here with the hot gloves. We're going to move it right over to the cutting board. And we're going to take the roast out. Now what you can do is you can wait for the roast to cool, because it cuts easiest when it's cool, right? And we're going to take, in this case, if you have the roulade, the reshet, we want to take that off, the string, the net string. And take that off like this. Now what you want to do is you want to cut this preferably while it's cold, and then you can later on put it on your stove or whatever, however you're going to heat it. You heat it up later with the sauce. Now there. It's so soft, it's like butter. It's well done, so no one will have issue with that. Look at that. That is beautiful. And it was cooked on top of the stove. Okay. We're going to slice this all up and we'll put it on the serving platter. Okay, we take now this roast, place it on the platter. Have it look as nice as you can. The parts that fell apart you can put on the side. Nice slices you can keep in the middle. Oh, this is going to be one happy Pesach. These are put on both sides here. Some people want to just snitch, you know. Okay, in addition, we take this nice pot here and we place the potatoes all around. They're nice and soft, well done potatoes. They make a nice decoration. Okay. You can come to my house for Seder. We have a lot of fun. The bay leaves you can take out or leave in, depending. They're not edible, but they also look nice. Now we take the roasted onions. They're a little harder to find, and we put that right on the middle. If you want to garnish it with a little fresh parsley or something like that. Wow, that looks good. And there we are, all set and ready to eat for Pesach. And now we're all ready for a wonderful, healthy, happy Pesach. Thank you for coming.